Oh, brother. Do we have a lot to talk about? Let's get into it, guys. We are less than 24 hours removed from WrestleMania, and it's really just been an eventful week, a fun week, an eventful week indeed. I'm sure a lot of us are burned out. I'm a little burned out, but I didn't end up in Vegas this year, and I moderated. I ran the race at a maintainable pace. So I'm okay. I'm a little burned out, but I'm okay. I got some room in the tank for the Raw after WrestleMania, which I will be watching shortly after the recording of this video. Let's get into it, guys. Let's start with the results. Welcome to the episode 27 of the Wrestling is Bullshit Report. Again, there's a lot to cover. I'm going to try to give every piece of news justice as we just got out of WrestleMania week. Before we officially dove into WrestleMania week, we had a little bit of an interesting show from AEW Dynamite. They have officially surpassed WCW as the longest running show on Turner Broadcast Network. So I believe I said that right. They have surpassed WCW in terms of sticking around. Kudos to AEW. That is a huge accomplishment that will probably go unseen because it took place during this year's WrestleMania weekend, but nonetheless on AEW Dynamite, the show to surpass WCW Nitro. The Opps defeated the Death Riders for the AEW World Trios Championship. Or should I say the Opps and Powerhouse Hobbs? Is Powerhouse Hobbs joining the Opps? I don't know. He makes a great team alongside Samoa Joe and Katsuyori Shibata. I personally would have rather had Hook win the title. I don't know what happened there. I'm not going to dive into what happened there. Perhaps there was an injury. Perhaps they thought Powerhouse Hobbs would be better in this situation as a champion with Shibata and Samoa Joe other than Hook for whatever reason. That would be silly if that's the case, but nonetheless, we have some new World Trios champions over in AEW, and hopefully they can have a good run in what I thought was a pretty solid run from the Death Riders, especially as of recent, as they've been defending their titles consistently over Collision and even got a spotlight match at AEW Dynasty, the last pay-per-view out of AEW recently. Let's move on, guys. We also had, of course, AEW Collision showing out on a Thursday where we saw Nick Wayne win the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. Pretty cool to see Nick Wayne get a title. We'll see what he does there. But let's get into WrestleMania, guys. It's not a week to be talking about AEW. The first step in the road to WrestleMania this week, or should I say the first step in WrestleMania week this week, in my opinion, was TNA Unbreakable on Thursday night out of Las Vegas. This TNA Unbreakable special saw Steve Maclin become the inaugural TNA International Champion. Going to be super interesting to see how this international championship works out for TNA. It seems like it is being built up and will have the consistency to be at the very most just as important as the X Division Championship. The X Division Championship is in a great place right now. It's been in a great place ever since TNA rebranded themselves from Impact Wrestling back into TNA in early 2024. The X Division Championship has been nothing short of consistent. Since then, we're going on a little over a year, 15 months maybe. So, Moose is having a great run with the X Division Championship, especially as a heavyweight, which is unique to see, cool to see. And then we have this international championship being ushered in by Steve Maclin, who's fantastic, who is a cornerstone of TNA as of recent, as of the past several years. So it's really cool to see TNA introduce this new championship. I think it has legs to go. We will talk more about the new TNA International Championship on the watch list. So, yeah, Steve Maclin is your inaugural TNA International Champion. And then we get into the SmackDown the SmackDown before WrestleMania SmackDown, as they like to call it. And we saw the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I know this Battle Royal has lost its significance slowly, maybe quickly over time. We were able to see Carmelo Hayes win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal this year. And I think that's a great win for Carmelo Hayes, a guy that has undoubtedly been lost in the shuffle as of recent. It's okay for him to be lost in the shuffle. He's so young. He will be around for a while, and he will get his flowers all in due time. Stay patient, Melo fans. But nonetheless, it's good to see Carmelo Hayes getting the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal victory. I think he is more than deserving of that, and it's a step in the right direction for him. Yeah, pretty fun, pretty fun. Saturday morning, man, we had NXT Stand and Deliver, where we saw 2 title changes. We saw Sol Ruca win a ladder match for the vacant Women's North American Championship. It's about time Sol Ruca has some gold. Very excited for that. That was absolutely my pick. I'm a huge Sol Ruca fan, so it was really cool to see her get the dub in this year's ladder match for the Women's North American title. And then we had Hank and Tank defeating Fraxium for the NXT Tag Team Championship. We have new champions. Fraxium has dominated this NXT Tag Team division for a hot minute now. So to see Hank and Tank come in and get the dub, I think that was really entertaining. I think this NXT Stand and Deliver show puts NXT back on the map. NXT has been consistent for months now, but to go ahead and hit a grand slam, which was this NXT Stand and Deliver show this past Saturday morning, seriously, it feels like we're back in the black and gold era. I have faith in what is now the black and silver era of NXT. I have faith in this. This Stand and Deliver show exceeded expectations. NXT has been building up to have a big show like this for themselves, and it was enjoyable. Saturday morning was fun. Very happy with NXT, and I look forward to tuning into NXT more often from here on out. I've already been tuning into NXT. It's been on the watch list like so many times. Let's get into it, guys. We have WrestleMania. Ooh, now we got to talk about WrestleMania. I enjoyed the show. I know a lot of people are upset about the finish. I am not. This is the beginning of something. We have to give WWE the benefit of the doubt, and we have to let WWE tell this story. We have to be open-minded to not knowing where this story is going. John Cena, let's start with John Cena. He won number 17 in a way that none of us would have expected to happen. He won number 17 as a heel. Travis Scott was with him, to the dismay of some. I didn't mind it. Again, it plays into this story. The Rock's new faction. The first guy was Travis Scott. The second guy is John Cena. And we don't even know who the third guy is yet. This story is in first gear. This is not going to be a short-term story. A lot of us thought it was going to be a short-term story. We thought John Cena was going to give Cody Rhodes all his momentum, which would have been easy, which would have made sense. Too easy. They're not doing that. They're telling a story. This is the beginning of something, not the end of something. Which is awesome. Which is cool. I understand it's going to take some time for WWE fans and wrestling fans in general to get used to these new stories that WWE and creative are boldly willing to discover, boldly willing to uncover, and boldly willing to tell. This is one of those situations where, yeah, it was weird. The ending to WrestleMania Sunday was weird, with John Cena winning number 17 in such a weird way. Guys, be patient, okay? Be patient. And even if this doesn't amount to anything, I can guarantee you that Triple H and company are going to learn from their mistakes creatively. Stay on board for the story. John Cena just won number 17. I know there's a piece in every single one of us wrestling fans that's pretty happy about that. It happened in a way that we weren't expecting. There should be a piece in every single wrestling fan that's happy about that too. Did anybody see John Cena winning number 17 in this fashion? Did anybody see that coming? No. That's exciting. That's exciting. Other things that happened on night 2, ladies and gentlemen. We saw Drew McIntyre get a good victory over Damian Priest in a Sin City street fight, in which was fantastic. Which was a fantastic match. We also saw Dominic Mysterio win a fatal four-way match for the Intercontinental Championship, which was electric. The crowd was behind Dirty Dom, and he got the dub. That was fun. I'm excited to see where that story goes with Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio over the Intercontinental Championship. We also had the return of the man, Becky Lynch, who partnered with Lyra Valkyria to defeat the Judgment Day for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Super fun as well. What a fun night two, guys. What a fun night two. Night one also had its moments. We started the show with Jey Uso winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Tapped Gunther out. I can understand the gripe that some of y'all have with Jey Uso submitting Gunther. That's fine. I'm not going to comment on that. But it's cool to see Jey Uso as World Heavyweight Champion. I'm not going to say anything negative about that. He had a good match with Gunther. Was it a great match? I can understand how some of you could say no to that. But it was a good match. It was very entertaining. It was very enjoyable. I'm glad to see Jey Uso as the World Heavyweight Champion. I don't mind. We had Jacob Fatu defeat LA Knight for the United States Championship. Jacob Fatu winning the U.S. title in his first WrestleMania match. Awesome. Awesome. That match could have really gone either way, in my humble opinion. But they went ahead and they went with Jacob Fatu. And I don't know a soul that's upset about that. I know some diehard LA Knight fans. They're happy for Jacob Fatu winning that title. We had the New Day defeating the War Raiders for the World Tag Team Championship. Good for New Day. I still love New Day. Have they lost a bit of their momentum since turning heel on Big E? Yeah. Is this a way for them to get their momentum back? Sure. Yeah. Why not? The War Raiders also did a great job getting some momentum in those World Tag Team titles. I don't know if you remember, but Finn Balor and JD McDonough had those titles for a while and did nothing with them. And then the War Raiders came in, won those titles, and defended those titles like they should be defended. Defended those titles at WrestleMania, came up short against New Day. New Day are your new World Tag Team Champions. And I'm excited to see what New Day is able to do with those World Tag Team titles. I think they'll do fantastic. Last but not least, guys, we have the triple threat. Paul Heyman, not only just turning on CM Punk, but also turning on the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns to align with a victorious Seth Rollins. Let me preface that I am a humongous Seth Rollins fan, and I am ready to see Seth Rollins take a prominent role in the company. I am ready to see Seth Rollins be built up to undisputed WWE champion. Let's say Cody gets the title back from Cena 3 to 6 months from now, okay? And then we build Seth Rollins to be the 2026 Royal Rumble winner, and we have a high-caliber match. The babyface, Cody Rhodes, the heel, Seth Rollins, for the undisputed WWE Championship. If that happens, I'll be rooting for Rollins. Sorry, Cody fans. I'm ready to see Seth Rollins in a prominent role. He is more than ready. He's been more than patient, and he freaking deserves it. I'm super excited to see what comes of this Seth Rollins character alongside Paul Heyman. I'm glad he got the win. I was super hyped for this. I think this is super exciting. Again, this is just the beginning of a new story. We are entering in the beginning of several new stories. So sure, maybe WrestleMania underwhelmed some of you guys, but I'm sure they'll make up for it. I'm sure the new beginnings that we are getting into with this WrestleMania will only come to strengthen next year's WrestleMania. We're just in the beginning of so many of these stories. Let's enjoy it. You don't have to know what's going to happen. Just enjoy it. What an eventful week, ladies and gentlemen. We also had a lot of news. Let's get into that. We're starting with Jey Uso. Both Usos, Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, having a presence on Complex earlier this past week with a Jey Uso Goes sneaker shopping episode that was very entertaining. And then we also had a GOAT Talk episode featuring both Usos. Both entertaining pieces of content from Complex. It's always fun to see WWE superstars and AEW wrestlers join the pop culture world, going sneaker shopping, doing other things. being featured on ESPN, as WWE was heavily featured on ESPN during WrestleMania week this week. Always cool to see. A W for wrestling, nonetheless, when you're able to see the world of wrestling come into other worlds. For New Japan Pro Wrestling, this has been a tough week as Jeff Cobb, Tetsuya Naito, and Bushi have all been granted their releases. These three wrestlers, again, Jeff Cobb, Tetsuya Naito, and Bushi, will not be in New Japan Pro Wrestling anymore. We can only assume where they are heading, especially with The Rock's recent post wearing a New Japan Pro Wrestling shirt. What does that mean? Were they trying to get a partnership with New Japan? Are they trying to get talent from are they trying to grab talent from New Japan? I wouldn't put it past WWE. We don't know what it means, but we know that Jeff Cobb, Tetsuya Naito, and Bushi are leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling, and only time will tell where they end up. I'll tell you where people are rumored to end up, specifically going to WWE. Mariah May and Rusev are reportedly heading to WWE. Let's talk about Rusev first. Seems like things didn't work out in AEW. Seems like WWE is the perfect place for Rusev to go back to, and we'll see how it goes. I'd imagine he's going back. I'd imagine he's all but guaranteed to be going back. And Mariah May, a huge loss for AEW. A huge loss for AEW, maybe heading to WWE. That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. WWE has the legacy. All of these wrestlers wish to be main eventing WrestleMania, and you do that by going to WWE. So I would understand if Mariah May jumped ship from AEW to WWE. And yes, I'm not going to sit here and act like it's not a huge loss for the women's division of AEW. But what can you do? You keep going. Timeless Toni Storm is fantastic as ever. You got Mercedes Moné. You continue to build up these stars like Deonna Purrazzo, like Chris Statlander, like Willow Nightingale. Beef up the division. Yes, Mariah May is a huge loss, but all is not lost. I think there's a pretty good chance that Mariah May ends up in WWE, which is a shame for AEW, but nonetheless, a blessing for Mariah May, potentially. We'll see how it goes. Two more pieces of news, guys. AEW announces a show with their partner CMLL happening in June. AEW and CMLL will be having a show together this summer, which will be entertaining. But in even bigger news, here comes WWE completely upstaging AEW in this regard. WWE has acquired AAA Lucha Libre. Oh, not partnered with, acquired. As good as this is for wrestling, it's also bad for wrestling. I will say that. But what I will say is AAA Lucha Libre has not been much over the past few years. AEW has taken a lot of significant talent out of AAA's roster. And AAA looks to survive under the ownership of WWE from this point forward. It's never good to see a monopoly form, but I think in this case, it's not the end of the world, seeing as AAA was hurting on its own for the past few years. I'm excited to see what comes of this. You know, CMLL is the premier location for Lucha Libre, but is it very accessible to an American audience? No. AAA has always had its way with the United States by simply being accessible to the American audience. And now that they are under the WWE banner, now that they have been acquired by WWE, that's only going to multiply in presence, which is good for Lucha Libre. There will be an NXT and AAA Lucha Libre Worlds Collide event this summer as well. We will see how the synergy between AAA, NXT, and of course WWE comes into play. Super intriguing. I think you mix the presence of Lucha Libre and WWE, which is very heavy right now, with the current standing roster of AAA, and you can put together something special. Whether they're going to rebrand that to NXT Mexico or not is not something I'm going to get into right now. There's a lot of speculation going on about how this is going to look between AAA and WWE. We will find out, ladies and gentlemen. I just hope for good Lucha Libre and good representation on both sides. AEW with CMLL and now WWE with AAA. Lucha Libre wrestling is going to be accessible to an American audience widely and greatly on the WWE side, and then sparingly on the AEW side. I imagine that CMLL, the oldest wrestling promotion in the world, will continue to cater to their Mexican audience more than they cater to anyone else, which is respectable. The system they have going on over there works. Very cool. Very cool. All right, guys. Been 20 minutes. Let's get into the watch list and let's get out of here. We have, of course, not listed on the watch list, but worth your time, the Raw after WrestleMania. No matches of significance listed as of yet, but nonetheless, we are going to see John Cena, the new undisputed WWE champion, on this show. So I would say definitely tune in. Going past that, we have NXT, where Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley will challenge Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Very entertaining must-watch match there. I would highly recommend checking it out. Then we jump all the way to Friday, an absolute must-watch show, as the Street Profits defend the WWE Tag Team Championship in a TLC match against DIY and Motor City Machine Guns. A 3-team, 6-man tables, ladders, and chairs match for the WWE Tag Team Championship with the Street Profits, DIY, and Motor City Machine Guns. Take my money. Watch SmackDown. Find a way to watch SmackDown this week. You have to watch that match. We're not going to get into why this match is on SmackDown and wasn't on WrestleMania. We're not going to get into that. We're just going to enjoy SmackDown this week. Last but not least on the watch list, we have TNA Rebellion. Let's go down the card for this pay-per-view that TNA will be putting on this Sunday out of Los Angeles, California. Ash and Heather by Elegance. Ash and Heather by Elegance. I always do that. Defend the Knockouts World Tag Team Championship in a 4-way tag team match. Steve Maclin defends the TNA International Championship against Eric Young. Ooh, money. What a way to kick off that new title you got there, TNA, with Steve Maclin versus Eric Young. Hell yeah. Moose defends the X Division Championship in an Ultimate X match. Dare I say more? That should already have your money. The Hardys defend the TNA World Tag Team Championship against Nick and Ryan Nemeth. Masha Slamovich defends the Knockouts World Championship against Tessa Blanchard. And Joe Hendry defends the TNA World Championship against Frankie Kazarian and All Ego Ethan Page. Wow. What a world. What a week. Don't be too disappointed about WrestleMania, guys. This is just the beginning of a lot of new stories that are going to unfold slowly over time. Don't be disappointed. I understand that WrestleMania is supposed to be the send-off, the finale of all storylines. But be open to the idea that this WrestleMania 41, was the beginning of several storylines. Be open to that concept. Understand that SummerSlam is 2 nights this year. Perhaps we'll see the finale to several stories there at this year's SummerSlam. Perhaps a lot of these stories will carry over to WrestleMania next year in New Orleans. Be patient. This is a new era that we are in with WWE. It's going to take us fans some getting used to with the way that they try to tell stories in modern day. We've been needing a change for years. Now we finally have it, and we can't be scared of it. We have to embrace it. We have to be open to it, and we have to be patient with it. And we have to trust Triple H and company to learn from their mistakes creatively. Will this be a mistake? Or is this just the beginning of several new stories? Only time will answer that question. But the only way to find out is to, of course, watch wrestling. And if WWE is really making you that upset, then there are other things to enjoy. There's TNA, there's New Japan, there's AEW. Okay? The only reason that I am not upset is because I watch several different wrestling promotions. I support a lot of it. So at the end of the day, I'm not too tied to how one promotion is doing. It doesn't affect me that much. All right, guys, get out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Be good. Be happy.